Good morning, everyone. Welcome to worship here at Zion Lippy, United Church of Christ. I want to thank you all for taking the time to join us today. Whether you're here with us sitting in this sanctuary or sitting in your homes, wherever you may be, or if you watch this recording a little bit later in the week, we thank you for taking the time to do that and to learn and grow with us in our faith as we move through this Lenten season. We appreciate the chance to worship with you and to grow with you and to share with you some of our ministry and our dreams for the future and community. I want to mention this morning, as I've been mentioning the past few weeks, Miss Lillian Randall and her trek through some of the challenges that she's been moving through. Lillian died yesterday morning around 5:30, and services are pending. Her family is meeting with Schneider Funeral Home this morning at 9:30. Following that gathering, I will have a more definite idea of the day of the service to celebrate her life and when it will take place. And I'll make sure I get all of that information out, not only to you as a congregation, but also to different people within our congregation that help make those celebrations of people's lives very, very special. I know they want to have a service here at church. I know they want to have a meal afterwards. I just don't have a definitive day yet. So as soon as I know that, I'll make sure everybody else knows. So to her whole family, my deepest condolences and sympathies to all of you. I know you were there with her many times as she journeyed through that challenge. And I'm going to share one thing that I think helps with grief sometimes, that she said that I probably will share at her funeral as well, because I thought it really spoke to her acceptance of where she was on her journey. And I think it was Lauren that told me this last week. I think it was you. If it wasn't, I'll retract it. We'll delete it. We'll make sure it isn't recorded, all that kind of stuff. Family was visiting last week and had said to her, well, you look pretty good. Hope you're feeling okay. Your hair isn't quite as poofy as it usually is. And Lillian said, don't worry about that. The funeral home will correct that. A great comment, really. A sad moment, but also a comment by a woman who cared for, loved life, loved her family, loved her church, but at the same time knew that for her to continue to live like she was living, she just didn't want that anymore. And so I look forward to the chance to be with her family, to move with all of you who are close to her as we grieve her passing, and then ultimately to celebrate her life once we know when that gathering will take place. We had a great dinner again this past week. For those of you that are interested in coming out on Wednesday night, we serve dinner at 6 o'clock, and then we have a short worship service at 7 o'clock. If you'd like to join us for the worship service or just the dinner, we just love to have you here with us, whatever works in your schedule. Sometimes coming out and having dinner with a whole group of people and sitting around a table with others can be healing, and we would invite you to do that. And if you choose to join us for worship, that'd be fine as well. If you or you know of others that might benefit from grief coaching or being a part of a group that deals with grief-related issues, we will meet Monday evening at 7 o'clock. We meet here at the church, and we meet in the Sunday school hall. And we meet somewhere between about 45 minutes to just past an hour. If you'd like to join us, please do so. Men's Lenten breakfasts aren't men's Lenten breakfasts anymore. They're just Lenten breakfasts. I do appreciate that there are more and more females coming to these gatherings. We hosted here at Zion Church yesterday our second Lenten breakfast. The Lenten breakfast this coming week will be at Bethel United Church of Christ on the east side of town, just kind of catty-cornered from Menards. If you would like to be at that breakfast, we would love to have you join us there. I had this announcement up last week. The Easter egg hunt is going to follow our Easter Sunday's 10 o'clock service, which is going to be great fun. It has been the past couple of years. If you'd like to make some donations, just bring them into the church office. You also can see Lauren. She's sitting right over here, or she'll be in the foyer, or just give them to me, and I can get them to her if you're not sure who Lauren is. Women of Zion are going to be meeting on the March 14th. It's an evening out, and they're going to be at the Wheelhouse in Poseyville. Irma Donner just needs to know by the 3rd of March, so reservations can be made. We'd love to have you join us for that. And then lastly, if you're interested in helping keep the church grounds looking good, and Easter's coming up here at the end of March, and with weather supposed to be rainy and going to be about 70-some degrees a couple days this week, everything starts growing, everything starts getting green again. We are going to need to kick that into gear, or we're going to have to come up with some other creative ways to keep our church grounds looking good. We currently don't have anybody that's expressed much interest in this position. So if you know somebody and you'd like to explore, let me know, and we can move forward with that. One last thing that I was asked to announce, and that had to do with your flower orders, Easter lilies or flowers. What isn't on those order sheets is where you would like your donation designated to, whether that be Partners in Food or what was the other place? Rosa, you said there were two? What? Building Fund or Partners for Food. So apparently when we redid the order forms, those things were usually on the old order forms. If you want your donation going to one or the other, just designate that and we'll make sure it gets there and we'll get it all worked out in the end. I hope we have a great worship service planned for you today. We're going to focus on a topic that I think is very relevant for all of us, not only today, but for all sorts of days. And that'll start in just a few moments when all the kids come up and help me learn and grow with them. But before we do that, Carol Joe's going to lead us in our prelude this morning, The Old Rugged Cross. Carol Joe. Good job. It's good to have you back with us. Carol Jo and Jim haven't been with us for a few weeks because the old COVID bug struck, and so they were at home for a while, but we appreciate you being here, and I always appreciate your messages, Carol Jo, that you text me, letting me know that even though you couldn't be here physically, you were with us online and worshiping with us anyway. We appreciate your ministry here at the church and your music. Thank you very much. Would you please stand and join with me as we join together in our opening prayer, and then we'll sing our opening hymn as well. The words that we offer today as a gathered body of people growing in our faith are this: God, you have given us everything. Be our guide on our Lenten journey. Help us to deny ourselves and pick up our cross and follow Jesus. May your Spirit permeate this space and our hearts this awesome day. Guide our worship in the direction of our lives. Amen. Let's sing. Any superheroes here today? Come on down. Everybody else who is non-superhero-like, go ahead and grab a seat. Look at how fast everybody is. My goodness. Come on. Let me show you where it's at. Come on. Good morning. Good morning. All right, there's some people coming from the balcony. There he comes. Look at this guy. Got the boots and the vest. I like it. Looking good. Come on. Can you hold that for me for a second? All right. All right, Mr. Anderson. It isn't like everybody's waiting on you again or anything. Just come on. Come on, Giggles. There you go. There you go. Good to see everybody. Everybody have a good week? Was it an excellent week? Oh, just good. Somewhere between good and excellent. Okay, I understand. I completely understand. Sometimes our weeks aren't as good as other weeks, are they? If you could tell me what would make your week completely awesome, what would have to happen? What would have to happen to make your week just perfect? To get your, oh, you got in trouble. Oh, you lost your iPad. Oh, all right. Well, that happens. You know, and when it comes back, you'll be like, I'm a changed woman. I'm never going to lose this iPad again. What would have to happen? Two scoops of ice cream in Mickey's Kingdom. Okay, not just the one little measly scoop. Come on. Who eats one scoop anymore? Nobody. Literally nobody. There was a survey just done of ice cream consumption, and it was 0% of people in this massive worldwide survey that said they took one scoop of ice cream. So two, absolutely. Yes. To win your basketball tournament. So do you have one coming up, or just to win one if you have one? You got one coming up. Good for you. I hope it goes well. That what would have to happen to make your week an absolutely perfect week? Have a family game together. I like it. Yes, ma'am? To sing your favorite song all week. What song is it? Who sings it? You don't even know the name of it or who sings it. It's going to be a tough one. Is it a Taylor Swift song? It is a Taylor Swift song. Excellent. Excellent. I love it. I'm talking to the kids. I don't need any feedback from out here. Goodness gracious, what are they doing? Yes, sir. I'll get to you in a second, Jess. Oh, this would be an epic week. If you could eat 600 Oreos before we're together again, that would be awesome. Video that for me. Yes, Jess. You're kind of like me in the opening prayer. 10,000 times. Yes, ma'am. 100 times. Last one. Make a perfect week. To let your mom do your homework for a week. Yeah. Smart. 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 Yes? Okay. Going into a different grade and going to Disney World. Perfect. Last one. $1,021 cotton candies. That is an enormous amount of cotton candy. I've heard of 1,000, but I've never heard of 1,021 cotton candies. That's an enormous. I don't even know if they have that much cotton candy at Disney World. Let me know if they have it. Okay, okay, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. That's right. I like it. I want you to help me find something today. Okay, I want you to find something today which can help make our weeks and our days more perfect. And there's a lot of them around. You see a lot of them everywhere. Some of you might even be wearing one. There might be people here in church today who are wearing one. But help me locate within this sanctuary, this church space, the crosses that are in here. Where do you see them? Yeah, just point to them. There's a big one that's obvious, right? That right up there is a really big one. Where's another one? Like there's some on that altar cloth there. There's 3 of them. There's a gold one back there, isn't there? Where's another one? Oh, there's some on the baptismal font. There's some on the side, and there's other ones on top. On top of the flag, there's another one. Where's another one? Where at? On the light, there are little crosses. You're right, at the bottom. They look like little clovers. There's all kinds. Is anybody here Is anybody here wearing a cross as jewelry or anything? You got yours on? You got one on your fingers? Yeah? Is there? Yeah. Look at some of these different crosses. That's a pretty cool cross, isn't it? Look at all those crosses. There's all kinds of different types of crosses, and they're all over the place. If we were to ask the congregation who out here is wearing crosses or something, how many people do you think would raise their hands? Yeah. Who out here is wearing some Christian jewelry? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. I'm not wearing any, but today I have with me, got some up in the balcony. There's a friend of mine made this cross for me and whittled it out of some wood. Has anyone? I know. Way up there's one. Has anyone ever had something like this they carried with them?
He gave us one a few years ago.
What? Do you know where yours is?
Still in my bedroom.
Still in your bedroom. What does the cross represent? But what about Jesus does it represent? He died there, right? He died there. Why did he die there? Yes. People were being mean. Yep. And it's easy to draw. That's right. But okay, right. I want to repeat your answer. You talked about people being mean, and they put him on the cross, and he died on the cross, and by dying on the cross, these were your words you said, and I love them. Great answer. You said, so we can then represent him in what we do. And sometimes by carrying something like this, we're reminded to do just that. Right back there, there's a little basket there. Can I have it? And I've got some, I hope, for everyone. They're different colors. Little, I know, easy. Can you tear that apart and give one to someone? Here you go. Here you go. You want a different color? Here you go. Give that to someone else. Here you go. Is that okay?
I got a pink one last time and I put it on my backpack. Now I have a purple one.
There you go. Look at that one. There you go. How about this? Yep. There you go. It's something to carry with you. Hand those out that you can remember with. Okay? That you can remember. Everybody get one? Oh, there you go. Right in front of me. There are no white ones. Did you get one? Did you get one? Okay. There you go. Okay. Now, do me a favor. You need one? Perfect. Grab a seat. Grab your seat. Grab your seat. And you're going to help me do two things today. You helped me do this one time not too long ago. I'm going to need 4 of you to help me with the offering. Okay. All right. Go get one. Go get one. Will you be able to do it? Will you remember to do what you're supposed to do? You won't get distracted? All right. You get one. And you get one. Okay. There you go. Good job. Okay. We'll do it next week. Okay. All right. All right. And since you all have crosses and you represent Jesus in some way, and you're going to do that this week, you're going to help me do that right now by one of you volunteering to come up here and lead us in prayer. You want to lead the prayer? No? You want to do it? Okay. All right. You're going to share the prayer. Okay? Here you go. Say it.
Dear God, thank you for loving us, caring for us, and helping us be strong. Amen.
Good job. Good. That was a great prayer. Good job. All right, you all have a great week, okay? If anyone wants to extra cross. I'd like to read for us this morning from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 8, verses 31 through 38. It begins with Jesus teaching his disciples that the Son of Man must undergo great suffering, be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, the scribes, and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. He said all of this quite openly. And Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, but turning and looking at his disciples, he rebuked Peter and said, "Get behind me, Satan, for you are setting your mind not on divine things, but rather on human things." He called the crowd with his disciples, and he said to them these words, "If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it. And those who live and those who lose their life for my sake and for the sake of the gospel will save it. For what will it profit them to gain the whole world and forfeit their life? Indeed, what can they give in return for their life? Those who are ashamed of me, of my words, in this adulterous and sinful generation, of them the Son of Man will also be ashamed when he comes in the glory of his Father and with the holy angels." Here ends our reading today from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Which brings us into this second Sunday of the Lenten season and provides us a chance to share even a little bit more concerning where we're going and where we might hope to be as we move through this Lenten season together. Last week was Jesus baptized, and last week was Jesus, after him being baptized, moving into the wilderness very quickly. And today we moved into rejection, and we moved into the challenge of taking up crosses. Quite a jump, to say the least, but this is the Gospel of Mark. It moves rather quickly. Some might say that traveling can be like taking up a cross, and it can be very, very challenging. How many people here this morning really love to travel? A lot of people loving to travel. Travel. What are some of the favorite places that you've liked to travel? Just spit them out. Alaska. Somebody loved to go to Alaska. Where? Grandma's. That's right. That's right. Where? Pagona? Sedona. Arizona. All right, I'll get it right. Where else? Utah, Florida, Yellowstone, Hawaii, Michigan. You say Michigan? Michigan, excellent. Kentucky. Nobody said Nebraska yet. Come on. Yeah, that's right, Nebraska. Traveling can be some of the most rewarding things that we might be able to do, and some people really, really love to do it. Some people really appreciate the chance to be a part of those moments and just love to travel for sure. How many people here this morning love to fly? They love to fly. You like to travel with an airplane flight included, getting on a jet? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It kind of depends on how far the flight's going to be and all those types of things. But as I was thinking about carrying crosses and carrying things, for some reason I got to thinking about carrying luggage. And since the weather's getting nice, I was also thinking about camping and what it's like to go camping. I know there's a lot of campers in here because you all send me photos. We're not with you in church today, but we're with you in the camper. We're at the lake. We're at the New Harmony State Park, which is perfect. I'm not a camper. I don't know what it is about camping people like. I've never liked it. I think it's a lot of work. I think it's I'm not putting it down, and I'm not coming down on you pro campers here because I know there's a lot of you, but it seems like I like to get into a regular shower. I don't want the campground. I have a bad memory of being a child and having to go to a campground shower. And the floor was slimy. There was a snake in the stall next to me. He was showering, just getting it all up. Traveling and getting ready for all that kind of stuff sometimes gets in the way of a wonderful experience. Flying in itself can be an experience. Sometimes when you are heading out on a trip and you've decided that you love to travel so much you're willing to do it again, you run into long lines. You might run into somebody sitting next to you in a seat that doesn't know boundaries that much and might just fall asleep on your shoulder. You may have a delay. Somebody might have caused an issue, or there might be an issue with a plane and you just can't make it. Sometimes a door might just blow off the plane at 20,000 feet. You just don't know what's going to happen if like the door goes off and you're like, okay, I guess I'm sitting here. I'll put this mask on and help me get it on for the person sitting next to me. Sometimes you get in your seat and the legroom isn't exactly what they promised things would be. Sometimes traveling can make for some treacherous situations. So I got to thinking even further, and I thought about what are some of the strangest things people might bring with them when they're trying to travel through airline travel. According to the TSA, people do try to bring some pretty strange things onto their flights from time to time. And so here's some of the things that people tried to bring on planes this past year. The first one is this brass knuckle hand grenade combination that somehow someone felt they might be able to bring onto a plane. I don't know how many of you own brass knuckle hand grenade combinations, but if you do, try to refrain from having that on the plane with you. It might delay things. This particular one turned out to be a sad experience because it involved a groom for a wedding, and they had a wedding present that they were trying to take with them, and the wedding present that they were trying to take was this axe. And if some reason did not pass security. I don't know why. This particular lipstick case, which also is a lipstick case knife combo, didn't pass through security. For those of you that cringed when I mentioned the shower stall next to me at the campground when I was little with a snake, you might want to look away from this one, because this passenger had to leave this behind to enter the plane. I don't know what happened to the snake, but the snake couldn't get on the plane with them. Another person decided that they might try to bring this elk pelvis with them on the plane, which did not pass inspection for some reason. This novelty toilet paper roll holder did not pass because of its close association, which looked like a handgun. I don't know, I'm just telling you, this comes from... And also, fireworks aren't really that good of thing to bring into confined spaces like the plane that you might be on. What we pack and what we choose to take with us says a lot about how we travel. When we traveled as children, we traveled a lot by plane to visit my father. And this was back in the day when there wasn't a lot of security. So me and my brother, being about 8 and 10 years old, might be taken to the airport in Omaha, where we'd board a plane and then make a transfer in Atlanta to fly to Houston. There was one time we were visiting my father in Salt Lake City, Utah, and we were trying to make our way back to Nebraska, but a flight was delayed, so we ended up in Denver Airport, and we missed our plane. So you can imagine these two young boys trying to get to their plane, and there was no security at that time. So we got on the plane that was there, and they were just stewardesses, and they said, "What are you doing on the plane?" And we said, "Is this the plane to Omaha?" And they said, "That plane left 30 minutes ago." It was a very different time. When we traveled with my grandmother, she always had to pack lunch. Did anybody ever travel with their grandmother or with family members had to pack a lunch? My grandmother would pack lunches, and she would always cut the sandwiches into little triangular cubes. And there'd be sandwiches, and there would be Pringles chips, and there would be some sort of drink that we could have. Usually it was water, and the water was always contained in an empty Hellmann's mayonnaise jar that had been cleaned out. It wasn't anything fancy. It was like, we got a Hellmann's mayonnaise jar that holds water just fine. Why can't we? And so it was like, if anybody would be driving by us, kids in the backseat of the car, it looked like we were drinking moonshine or something like that. You just never knew. But that was my grandmother. Well, today's gospel lesson speaks of traveling as well and talks about what we are to take with us and what we might consider packing if we're deciding to make a trip. And it's very different than any of those things that I just shared or any things that I showed. It's the cross. It's what I gave the kids today. It's what some of you carry with you in the pocket of your pants or your purse. It represents something. But it represented something very different back in Jesus' time than it does for us today. In the first century, the mention of the cross or the image of the cross would have some incredibly strong immediate connotations with it. Because this wasn't something that you really wore as jewelry. This wasn't something that you put on your clothes. This wasn't something that was around like we have it around, because it represented a torture device. It usually was reserved for slaves, political criminals. It represented humiliation. It represented agony. It represented something incredibly extreme. It represented something that was terrifying. It would have been an exclamation point or bolded, underlined statement of a few sentences about what the Son of Man was to experience. And he talked about that a little today. Such an image and such a thought of that image would have rattled the disciples and those that heard the teachings those days to the core. In contrast, we don't have such a strong reaction to seeing the cross. Crosses are everywhere. They're on church steeples, right? They loom large in the front of our church. We put it in jewelry. We put it on bumper stickers and decals of our cars. When we look at it, we don't necessarily connect that radicalness of the cross that Jesus and his disciples would have experienced all those generations ago. Many theologians have tried to modernize this image for us yet today, saying that the equivalent in our society today would be putting something like a fully functional electric chair or a device that is used for execution at the entrance of our church. We wouldn't feel very welcome coming into a place if the first thing we saw was an electric chair, or if one of the first things that we saw was a table for lethal injections. That wouldn't make us feel very comfortable at all. So what I want you to do is associate that image that we think about today with a glossed over, looks beautiful, it represents something to us today, but it was so different generations ago. Puts a pit in our stomachs when we think of it that way. Theologian William Platcher offers this: we do not think about its meaning because we want to call ourselves Christian while advocating the thought that the implications of our faith might threaten our comfort. Christ took on a higher human nature while also embracing the tough side of it, while embracing everything that came with that simple image. Because verse 34 spells it out for us today. If you want to become my followers, deny yourself and take up your cross. Deny yourself. Not an easy thing to do. To deny yourself and to think about what that means. It's not an incredibly easy thing to do. But one of the important parts of this message includes the following part of it, right? We talked about this today in our Sunday school class with all the kids. And I asked them about what it meant to follow. And I asked them what it meant if you were involved in some athletic endeavor, whatever it might be, softball, baseball, volleyball, wrestling, football, whatever you can think of, and you did not follow the rules that your coach had an expectation of you to follow, what would happen? They didn't have any trouble answering that question and saying we wouldn't be on the team any longer. We wouldn't be allowed to participate. Following and denying oneself means that something has to change. It means that we have to not do what we are doing in order to devote a little bit more time to that which we feel we're called to do, or invited to do, or might be able to make a difference doing. We have to deny ourselves. And then secondly, is to take up that cross, whatever it might be. It can be many, many different things for all kinds of people. You all carry crosses in all kinds of different ways. Some of those crosses are the scars that you have on your bodies because of surgeries that you've endured that have changed how you function for the rest of your life. Some of the crosses that you carry with you are the scars that come from events in your lives that leave you feeling not the same as you once did. Some of the crosses that you carry with you are crosses of challenges and worries that you have about this upcoming week. Following our breakfast yesterday here at the church and following my conversation with Lillian's son and the funeral director, I had a chance to meet with a woman that carries an incredible cross with her, and her name's Joanne Bogard. Some of you know her, some of you don't know her. If we have an opportunity to work with her, we'll have a chance to know her a lot better. Her son, a few years ago, I think it's been 4 years ago now, hasn't it? It's been a decent amount of time, it goes by so fast, was involved in an online challenge that was going on, and it resulted in his death. The online challenge that he was a part of was a choking challenge. And what it was kids would video themselves and share those videos with one another. His involved something in which he was unable to change his circumstance, and he lost his life as a result of it. She carries that cross with her every day. But what's she done with it? I think that's the most important part. Because denying yourself doesn't mean giving up. Denying yourself means I'm putting more energy toward this because I really, really believe in it. And taking up your cross means I am incredibly determined to make sure this is going to happen. Since Mason's death, she, along with all kinds of people throughout the whole nation, have been to Washington numerous times. I think she told me yesterday she's been there at least 10 times. She's been a part of sponsoring a bill that is moving through the Senate here in the state of Indiana, which is going to begin to curb the access that people might have to certain things that you can find on multiple websites, whether that be just a regular Google search or social media. She was present for the most recent Senate hearing when Mark Zuckerberg was asked to get up and speak to all of the parents that were gathered there. And so I asked her this: how is that for you, Joanne? And how do you keep doing it? And she said, one, it is exhausting. And what challenges me the most, she said, is when I get in a room full of mothers and some fathers, but it's primarily mothers, and there may be 50 or 60 or 70 of them, and they're all holding pictures of their children who've died as a result of some action that could have been prevented. But I got to keep doing it because it's Mason's legacy that is living on through me that we feel we can ultimately make a difference for other families down the line. She's denied a lot of things. She didn't plan her life to be like that, and I'm sure you didn't plan your life to be in the place in which it is in many different ways at many different times. And you're carrying all of that with you. Sometimes it's a burden, and I think sometimes it can be an incredible blessing. Because we can be thankful that we've been given the chance to carry forward. We've been given the chance to move forward, and we've been continued to give the chance to make a difference. But this is the biggest part of it. It's up to you. It's up to us. That's what it comes down to. We can come into this church, and we can come into any church that we want to. And if we've decided that we want the walls of this church to be purple, and what we're going to do is come in on every Sunday morning and we're going to pray these walls purple. Just like your shirt. That's a great color. We're going to pray it purple. Pray it, pray it, pray it, pray it, pray it, pray it purple. And in the year 2050, we're still coming back to this church and we're, dear Lord, if you would find it within your will to bring these walls to be purple, we know it to be your will. and we would ask that it be done. These walls would remain yellow. These walls would not change until one of us decided that we're going to take up our paintbrush and we're going to carry in with us some purple paint and we're going to start rolling it on because God has inspired us to do so. That's one of the most challenging pieces of all of these messages, is that it isn't about just coming to worship and hearing some words and singing some hymns. It's about coming to church, hearing some words, singing some hymns, and being inspired by the lives of people who have gone before us and shared those messages with us, and that we, like Joanne and like ancestors before us, continue to live that legacy in what we do when we leave. And when we walk out of a place like this, we can say, I just feel like we can make such a difference. It was so good to see everybody. It was so good to hear everybody. It was so good to feel the Spirit in that sanctuary that day, that I have the ability, I know it, and I now have the energy to do it. I got to come back next Sunday because by the time I do it all week long, I'm going to be tired, but I'm coming back because I believe in it. I love it, and I can't ever see us not doing it. The difference that we have the chance to make through our collective efforts is astounding. But we have to do a couple things first. We have to deny ourselves, and we have to allow ourselves to devote time to whatever cross we're going to strive to carry forward. We'll continue to do that together. And we will continue to make a difference. I believe it. I know it. I trust it. And I trust you. Thank you for helping this church continue to make a difference whenever we have the chance to do so. Would you please pray with me? Dear gracious Lord, we know that there are souls within this space today that have brought with them heavy crosses. There are hearts that are broken within this congregation today because there are faces of people that we love and care for dearly that we are never going to see in this space again. But it never stopped you, and it won't stop us either. Because we believe that death and challenges aren't the final chapter. Life is. Opportunities are. So continue to lead us and guide us in some incredible ways. We're here. We're ready to do the work that you would have us do. Keep inspiring us through the ministries offered by so many hands and so many feet and so many voices within this congregation and beyond. Let's continue to make a difference, and let's do so together. We offer this prayer in the name of the one who found himself upon this cross, but who also rose from this cross to inspire us yet today. We honor him with these words. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Our closing hymn today is Faith of Our Fathers, and it comes as a request from Mr. Bob Yunker, wherever he's sitting. There he is, all the way in the back row. Mr. Bob, this one's for you. So let's sing it for Bob, because Bob said, you know, whenever I hear this song, I think of my dad. And I think of us singing it in this church for the generations that we sung it together. So let's do it in honor of Bob's dad. Let's do it in honor of the risen Christ. And let's do it for Mr. Yunker in the back row. Let's sing together. thank you, dear Lord, for blessing us and guiding us and taking us not only to this place, but in all the places that we will encounter this coming week. Guide us on that journey until we're together again. Our worship here this morning at Zion Lippe United Church of Christ has ended. Let our service now begin. Amen. Bobby, there you go. You got it. Stephen. How you doing, big man? Good. If I was any better, I'd change my name to Steve. You getting ready to take off? Oh, I thought you were leaving on a little vacation. March 2nd. Where are you?